any fashion you want. We'll get a couple of these in. You're going to gently pull. I like this one because you can get that gentle pull. This is soft, relaxed. This is pulled. You're going to take this energy that's between your hands. Oops. Take this energy between your hands. You're going to lift it in front of your face. Lift it, lift it, lift it, lift it. Oh, let your eyes and your throat open. Take a few breaths. These are not behind my head. They're just right above the crest of where my hair and my face meet. Inhale and exhale again. Keep pulling really gently. And then as you exhale, possibly the next breath or the one after, you're going to release this. We're tapping right into the polyvagal connection that coats the spine and surrounds the brain. Just let your arms hang really, really heavy. Inhale and exhale. And this is a pretty noisy breath because you're letting this out through your jaw. Inhale and exhale again. Now what I want you to do is interlace the hands again, but try and do it in the strange way. And once again, bring them in front of you, relaxed. Take a big breath in and then pull. Inhale and exhale. So again, you're going to let this rise up. Let your eyeballs follow those hands. Keep the gentle pulling, that tension. And letting it rise and lift above you. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Let that jaw relax. Keep that subtle tension. My elbows actually straightened this time. They weren't very straight that last time. Open, open, open. Take another breath in. Keep that tension. And then release this. Now paint the halo really slowly down around your body. Let your chin fall a little towards the chest. Let your knees bend. You're going to go ahead and you're going to let this fall towards the ground. And from that forward fold, either feet step back, pressing into the fingertips, the hands, let the neck go, or those knees come down. You can play with that tension, let the knees come down, and you can just let those hips sink right back towards the heels. I'm taking this nice and slow, but you can fold those hips all the way down to the heels. Take a few moments, let that breathe. Keep that breath going. Inhale and exhale. Nice, easy. Ready? And you're going to just come to hands and knees right now and just go through the cat and the cow. Just moving back and forth with this. Let the hips sway a little bit. Push through the hands. If you really need to make a fist to start with, we haven't put much pressure on the hands. Make that fist. Pull it high and let it go. Shoulders can move into the skin of the back. And go ahead and let Ujjayi happen. This is going to be a little bit more warming for the body. When you come into the next cat, as you exhale, I want you to pull in and hold the breath out for a moment. Squeeze it out. You can lift Mula Bandha. And then release on the impetus to inhale again. Let that inhale come in, open the throat, and just open that back up again. And then once again, pull it in. Squeeze that breath out. Pull the navel back. Squeeze. And then come back into the inhale, right? This is a natural breathing pattern for you. I'm not trying to shift something around. I want you to find that breath that works. On this last one, when you pull in, 3 of them, squeeze it out, and then let those hips sink back to the heels. Stretch those arms out, hips back there. Let the armpits stretch out. Take a few moments breathing. You'll probably get a sense of that breath against the ribs, against the thighs. Keep that breath going. One more breath. And then pushing down into the hands again, pull the spine back. But this time we're going to alternate the legs. So you're going to go ahead, pull the spine back, pull a knee in, and then push that leg back. When you bring that leg back down to the ground, knee comes to the ground, and the exhale and the opposite knee come in. And then you inhale, push back, stretch out. Knee comes down as you start the exhale, the opposite knee comes in. So we're looking a little bit for some crossing energy. Let that knee come down. Let the other knee come in on the exhale. If this is confusing to you, go with what breath is naturally happening for you. Use that ujjayi. Let's see if we can just accentuate some of the possibilities here. And go slow. Let that breath just happen nice and slowly. And push back. Stretch out. Knee comes down. We're going to do one more on each side. So we started on the right, or I started on the right. Extend back. Pull back. One more time each side. Squeeze. See if you can wring it out. Pull it back. Knee comes back. Pull the opposite one in. Exhale. Squeeze. And then inhale. Press it back. Knee comes back. If you can do full Balasana, knees together, hips sinking back towards the heels, let this stretch. Go ahead and pull those blocks in underneath the hands and do a cat again. And the blocks can be, I'm doing halfway high. And then I'm going to pull one of my legs in. I'm stepping left foot forward. I want you to do the leg that's forward. I'm working on that feminine energy, so left side is going to start this. I'm going to lean into my hands, tuck that back toe under, see what that lunge is like. And see if it will deepen for a moment. And I'm going to hold my blocks here because I'm going to hold that for a moment. I tuck the back toe under, take a moment with that breath. And then rocking back, I'm going to take this front leg and I'm going to push back into half plank, right? So that heel is off the ground. I'm going to play a little bit with lifting through the abdominals and pulling that opposite knee up. And then take a moment, come back, do the cat. Breathing in and breathing out. Stretching through that throat. Opening and closing it. And step the other foot forward. And again, if it feels appropriate, keep the box intact. If it feels appropriate to wiggle forward, tucking that back toe under, letting this lift up. I'm not trying to do a big forced thing. I'm pushing firmly through this right foot. I want you to try and push through that right foot. I'm pushing back through the toe on the back side. Let the heart lift if it feels like it. Wake up the quads and the hamstrings. Don't let them the bones just sit in this. Inhale and exhale again. Nice big breath. Hands are going to go more flat. I'm using my blocks again. So if you need those blocks, move those blocks back. Push that leg back. And then lower that foot to the ground. Tuck the toe under. See if you can lift up into a half plank. Knee is off the ground. Sometimes I like to hook. Push, push, push with the arms as best you can. Elbows as straight as possible. And then release. Go back to the cat and the cow. So I want to go back to those abdominal movements. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So this would be the inhale. The exhale would be the contraction. If the contraction makes sense to you, I want you to continue to stay with it. You need to adjust, make adjustments to support arms, elbows, all the major joints, right? You want those joints to feel supported. We're going to tuck this back into a Balasana again. If you'd like to do a wide Balasana, toes together, knees apart, we'll call this Balasana 2, Balasana 2. And I'm using the blocks here to keep my arms a little higher and just resting right down into this. Deep breathing, let that breath happen. Quiet that breath for the next 2 breaths. See if you can make that breath nice and soft for yourself. And just notice if you're checking in with the heat that might be up at the surface of the skin. One more breath. Take a nice big breath here. Unfold this. I'm going to tuck the toes under, raise the arms up above. I might disappear into the light there a little bit. And then just sweep the arms back. And you're just going to push these arms back behind you, palms facing behind you. Inhale and exhale. And then pull this back out again. Reaching high. If it feels good, you can push into the back toes. And once again, push this back. Inhale and exhale. If it feels appropriate, chin can go towards the chest as you push those arms back. And once again, reaching high. Opening, 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 opening. Let the chin lift if it makes sense. Push into the thighs, push into the knees. Tailbone is not swinging back. It's drawn down and above the knee. And then you're going to fold this back down. But this time you're going to push those arms back. Send the sit bones back. Send those sit bones back. And then untuck the toes and see if your forehead will come to the ground. Drop the shoulders. So let that breathe again. Forward folding. Breathing in. Breathing out. Ookatasana. Breathing in. Breathing out. Standing in forward fold. As you find yourself ready and willing to rise up, you can either use Ookatasana, so you can bend into the knees and you can just reach forward. I'm reaching a little lower because I got wall in the way. I got a slanted wall. Lift through Mula Bandha. Take an exhale, pull in through the navel, and just lift this right up. Let the hands come to your heart. Take a nice big breath in. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to just shoot the arms straight up above us. Inhaling and exhaling. We're going to bend in the knees. We're going to fold this down to the ground. Come up halfway. You can utilize your blocks. Exhaling, fold it back down. And we're going to unfold this again. Coming through the Ookatasana. I'm going to push the arms back. We're going to sort of play with a quasi cobra, quasi back bend. Lift through Mula Bandha. Inhale. As you exhale, pull this right back up. Bring it to your heart. Pull it up to the sky. Stretch it open and then bring it back to your heart. And once again, inhaling, stretch it above you. And then Ookatasana again. You can bring those elbows together, sitting down. Push your feet into the ground. Forward folding again. If you want, come up through half. I'm going to work on this particular posture, holding it back to the ground again. And once again, we're going to move this through Ookatasana. Arms can just dangle here. You're going to lift them up as you come up. Stretch them back to the ceiling again. Anjali Mudra, that's going to come back to your heart. Just palms together, back to the heart. Empty out all that breath. Pull in at the navel. And then starting the cycle at the end. Now we're going to add some lunges to this. Do the best you can with it. Ookatasana again. Forward folding, exhale. Inhale, halfway. And then as you feel ready, doesn't matter which leg you step back first. We're going to step back one leg. It's going to go flat. We're going to, again, play with warrior one. So pulling this up from the ground, come rooted through those legs. Open the arms as best you can. Just an opening. And then as you feel ready, exhaling. Hands are going to come down on either side of that front foot. You may do a down dog first, or you can move right through to push up plank. Knees are going to drop. My toes are still tucked under. Take a big breath in and exhale the breath. And then lower this to the ground. With no breath, push your hips into the ground. Open up a cobra or a sphinx. Take a breath. Exhale, release this. You can do downward facing dog or child's pose. Pressing back, downward facing dog. Pressing through the fingertips, through the knuckles. Rock into your toes. Move into the heels. If you're like me shoveling, the reason I like to shovel is because it's one of those postures, if you get into your thighs, we don't usually have to use that posture. So moving snow is good for your hips and thighs. The opposite leg is going to step back. So I'm moving left leg forward. Right foot's going to turn out for me. And then I'm going to roll this up and open up that warrior again. Take a nice breath in, opening it, and then releasing it. The back leg is going to step to the front leg. I rock into the heel, step that foot forward, fold down, empty out the breath. Inhale, halfway. And I'm using the knees here. Exhale, release. We're going to use Ookatasana again. So inhaling, lift through Mula Bandha, stand this back up, reach those arms up above you, and bring those hands right back to your heart. And switch that leg back. And coming in with that left leg forward, inhaling, opening that up again, warrior one again. And then exhaling, release this down to the ground. And go ahead, step that back leg forward. And coming through half back, lifting high. Exhale, release it. And then coming through that Ookatasana. And stretch it all the way out. I'm adding arms to this side. Hands back to the heart. We're going to do one more round. Inhale, opening it out. The left leg is going to do the leads again. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step that left leg back. Opening. Warrior one. Just find a stable spot. Let that inhale come in. The exhale is going to move back to the ground. And you'll either move straight through a down dog, straight through a plank. Knees, chest, chin. So those toes are tucked under, lowering to the ground. Push the hips in. Exhale everything out here. And then open up that cobra. Take a moment, let that breathe. Exhale, release. And down dog or a child's pose. Listen to your breath. If you're in that downward facing dog, you're going to prepare to step that left leg forward, right leg back, and open up that warrior again. Take a moment with it. When you're ready, let the exhale come down, folding over that leg, step that right foot in. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. And then unfold, Ookatasana again. Come through that long back. Stretch the arms up above you if it makes sense. And then stand it up tall. Opening it all the way out. Exhale, hands back to your heart. This Tadasana is pick up that leg, step it back behind you, pivot that other leg, right? So pivot that leg so that you're in a good open position. Actually, this is a little bit better. Inhale those arms high. Feet are parallel. They should be on the same line, a little on a diagonal here. Press those arms back and halfway forward fold. You can bring a block in under your hands. I want to do the push back with the arms. Stretch the throat out if that makes sense to you. Breathing in, breathing out. Reaching through the fingers. I'm pushing palms back or reaching hands towards each other as if they were going to touch. And then I'm going to let this rise back out again. Lift those arms again. Now this time we're going to open the arms, bending one of the knees and shift the weight over that leg. Think about wings here for a few moments. Just think about if you had wings. Let that neck either just look and come right out of the back. And then as you come into the next breath, reach this back, coming high, and then you're going to switch it to the opposite side, sinking into that other knee. Connect to both feet. As much as the weight is shifted over this bent knee, I want you to think of this foot rooted into the ground, that opposite straight leg. Toes are in the ground, heel. Stretch and open, lift through Mula Bandha. And then lift this right back out again. And then from here, release those arms. Interlace the hands behind you. So I'm just linking the hands, put them back behind you, pull the knuckles towards the ground. Now you get to have a choice. You can either do straight Paschimottanasana in between both legs, forward fold and hang down. The arms will rise up. Or if you want, do the shift again and see if you can hold that up. Some people can go very, very low here. So just be aware. If you can take it low, keep rooted through both feet. The knuckles are moving out or they're right by your sacrum. If you decided to take this into Paschimottanasana, the full straddle forward fold, those arms can hang above your shoulders. If you're doing just each side, come up and then switch. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale it. And then pull it right back to center again. So if you came from Paschimottanasana, straddle forward fold, release it, release those arms. We're going to turn back towards one of your feet. We're going to open warrior one and then shining warrior, reversing it back. Inhale and exhale. Now hold this. I want you to stay here for a little bit. If it feels appropriate, get longer through the torso. Think of the hips going down. You may even find your knees, your feet wanting to widen a bit. If you have anything to reach for, you can reach for the wall and stretch. And then we're going to go from here, when you're ready, extended warrior. Now I'm going to start with forearm on that leg, stretching that free arm out and above and letting it lift. If you want to take this all the way to the ground, the hand would slip behind that foot, pushing equally into both feet. I'm going to sweep the overhead arm back by the hip. my gaze go down to the floor. Take a breath here. Pushing through the legs, coming back, straightening that leg. Come up on that heel of that bent knee. Leg is straight. Come up on that heel, parallel the feet again. Take a moment here. If you linked your hands a moment ago, check the way you did it. There's always a natural way we go for. Switch it. Put it behind your back. And again, either Paschimottanasana or you can move to the other leg. And just lift up. I'm doing the half lunge. Arms pulling back. And then I'm going to come back through center. If you're in Paschimottanasana, you're going to take about 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale, and then switch. If you're doing each leg. Oh, there's the dog barking. Shh. Lifting, breathing. And then pull it right back to center again. And now you're going to release those arms. You're going to turn out that opposite leg. And so again, we're going to turn that leg out. Reverse warrior, shining warrior. Let it extend back. Inhale and exhale. Tailbone dropping. Your gaze can lift out. And then another breath or two here. Take your time. This is going to lead you to extended warrior. Forearm on that leg. The other arm will reach out. Right? It may not have anywhere to go. Take a few breaths with that. Stretch and extend. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to release that overhead arm. Let that overhead arm come back to the other hip. Lift the torso up, rock into that heel, lift the body. Parallel the feet. And just do, again, Paschimottanasana. And just let your head hang down. Inhale and exhale. If you need your blocks, bring the blocks in. We'll stay here just a little bit longer. Inhale and exhale it. Smile a little bit. Right? When you smile, you have to work those facial muscles if you're hanging down. If you're smiling, stretching the throat and up on that block, just put that smile into play. Inhale and exhale. We're going to end up pivoting back towards your front leg and just let that back knee drop to the ground. So I'm bringing both blocks back in. If you need the blocks, don't hesitate to add them. Back knee is going to drop to the ground. So we're back right at the beginning where we started. We're in that lunge. Take a few moments, let it breathe. If you can bring the hands to the knee, let that happen. Back foot is flat unless you need to tuck it under. Inhale and exhale. Pushing down through the front leg. And then I'm going to use blocks again. So fingertips on the blocks. Shift into the back knee. Push the front leg forward. And this would be Ardha Hanumanasana. This is half monkey pose, Hanumanasana. So if you think you can go into full splits, you're welcome to push this forward. Ideally, one of the ways I was taught this was back toe tucked under, front foot flexed, but everybody approaches this a little differently. If you need to move the blocks forward and you prefer more of a forward fold, which is much deeper in that glute and hamstring, let the head drop, let yourself drape over that front leg. Inhale and exhale. Look for the softness in the breath. Inhale and exhale it. Now, we're going to take this front leg in a moment and you're going to bend it and just make the box. Move the blocks back for a moment. Bring this knee back. You can flatten your hands to the ground, or you can just lower the blocks down. Do the cat. Exhaling, squeezing that breath out of the body. Going back and forth. A couple of times. Right back to the beginning again. We're just going right back in, just checking and seeing in with some of these tighter, unlubricated spots if they've loosened a bit. When you are ready, you're going to be stepping the opposite leg forward. I am crawling this foot forward. Back toes are untucked. I'm letting this sink. I'm pushing into that front foot. Again, I am using the blocks here and just letting that breath move through, breathing. Seeing if you can stay with this. If you need to make an adjustment, make that adjustment, right? I've raised the blocks to make a subtle adjustment there. So I'm off the front corner of the knee and more into the back edges of the knee. Pushing down, make this foot push into the ground so these muscles have to activate. So it's not just this hang in the hips experience. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now again, when you choose to release this, you're going to rock back, flex that foot. The blocks can move forward, and you can either do a variation of Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Take a few breaths. Make sure there's a lot of activity. You can still work through Agnisara here. You can pull navel in and work, letting the chin come into the chest, working in the bandhas, lifting Mula Bandha, lifting navel to spine on the exhales, chin to the chest on the exhales. If it feels like it can move a little bit more, you're always welcome to let it slide. It might not. Be gentle with it. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull this back again and slowly pull that knee back. Take a moment here, do the cat and the cow again. Again, adjust your blocks. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then take this back into a child's pose. Let those hips sink back. I'm doing a big wide one. Your knees can be as wide as your mat. Again, Balasana 2. And just let everything settle. Hips towards the heels. And just be patient. Be aware of how much the body is receiving or not receiving. How much information is coming in easily, how much of it needs a little bit of tempering. To get back to the ground, use abdominals to get down to the ground. If you need extra padding below your back because it's cool, don't hesitate to utilize extra padding. If you're on your back and those knees come in, just rock a little bit. If you want to go straight for bridge, we're going to try and just let the arms relax for a moment here. Push down into the feet. Let the hips rise. And then let them roll back. See if you can kind of find your slide, right? What's your slide like? Letting it roll like a bridge. Lifting to let a boat come through. And then letting it roll. Letting it roll back down. Maybe you're lucky enough to access the vertebra, so just be aware that that's a possibility. Inhaling and opening, and exhaling and rolling down. At some point, you may feel the urge to hold this up. What I recommend is, I'm going to do flat palms today, but you can make a fist. Flat palms is the option. I'm actually starting to lift these ribs up right away and then curl the hips up. And then moving the shoulders in just a smidge. I'm not wiggling too much. Try to keep your nose pointed straight ahead. Don't turn your neck too much. For some people, moving the chin away from the notch of the collarbone is going to be more beneficial than keeping it locked in. So just be aware if you need that cervical curve back there, and hold this up and let that breath happen. Really push into those feet, opening up the front of the thighs. Inhale and exhale. Stay with it. If you find the body kind of winding up and feeling a lot of energy and tension there, lower the hips a little bit and just see if you can hold it in the quads, in the buttocks, and just breathe. Keep pumping that oxygen into there, and then when you feel it, push through the feet again, raise back out again. Pushing the backs of the arms into the ground, the shoulders into the ground, the chin. Can make all kinds of subtle adjustments here. When you do want to release this, let those shoulder blades spread out, let the arms spread out, let the whole back come down to the ground. And just for a moment, if your lower back is not talking back too loudly at you, just let the knees rest against one another. If you've got a lot of dialogue going on in that low back, just let the legs sway. And when I let my legs sway, I usually let my neck turn left to right also. Sometimes it alternates. Sometimes it goes with the knees. Today it's going with the knees. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Relax your jaw. So the next phase is going to be the figure four. Ankle on a knee and pick up that foot off the floor. If it makes sense to you, you can continue the sway. This is going to lengthen out that low back as you let that sway happen. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to, if it'll straighten, that's where the four comes in. That's the four. If you're feeling a core thing, this is really tight, the low back may be arguing. You can reach for your big toe here or your foot, and you can get a nice core connection here, right? I'm not trying to pull the leg toward me with force. I'm trying to actually reach for that ankle, for those toes, and letting the leg lift the torso. Inhale and exhale again. Inhale and exhale again. There you go. And then when you're ready to release this, let that leg come down, let that knee bend, let the foot come down. If you'd like to take this into a twist, we haven't done much twisting. You would move the foot on the, move it in the direction where you're going to twist. And if the arm will open, that's great. If it's a little tight, I would keep it on the rib cage there and just let that twist happen. If your neck will look away from the twist, look in the opposite direction. Otherwise, letting that breath happen, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale and exhale again. And take your time, maybe 2 more breaths in that twist. Letting the breath move. Checking in with the sound of the breath. Is it moving gently, or is there a little bit of forced activity in that breath? When you are ready, let those knees come back to the center line. Make sure you wiggle the feet back in alignment with the hips. Uncross the legs, and then cross the opposite ankle on top of the other knee and pull that knee. So you're pulling the foot off the floor. You have to use a bunch of core muscles here to get that, and you have to activate, you're basically activating the front of the quad here and into the hip flexor, but you can get a pretty marvelous stretch on that back side. If you want to work through a straight leg, lifting the head and shoulders up, you can reach for a big toe or the back of the ankle and the calf. Inhale and exhale again. Inhale and exhale again and again and again. This is a really nice one because, yes, I can pull the leg closer to me, but I can also get into some of that mid-thoracic back and get a nice stretch there. Everybody's a little different how they're going to approach these last poses. Let that knee bend again. Let that foot come to the ground, right? And if you want to, move that foot in the direction you're going to twist. See if those hips will let you. Let that knee cross down. And again, see what that's like. This is a long diagonal from shoulder to ribs into that belly button area. If the neck will turn, that's great. If not, just keep looking in the direction your knees have fallen. This is a big, big stretch. Take another breath in. Take another breath, let it go. 2 more at least. See if you can stay with that breath. Inhale and exhale. I'm hoping my voice is not going in and out here. There was a particular piece of music that's playing downstairs that had a lot of bum, 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 bum. So if you were hearing that, I apologize. Inhale and exhale again. And then pushing through that foot that's left on the ground. Heel toe the feet, bring the feet back to that neutral. And I would just let those knees sway for a few moments. Let them sway, let them sway, let them sway. And then you're going to pull into a happy baby, right? So you're going to get into that happy baby and take a few rocks with that. If there is anything else, maybe you're somebody that likes to do Balasana, kicking the feet behind the head, or you want to work straight. Don't hesitate to check that out. Take a few moments. Let yourself register where the body wants to be. Breathing in, breathing out.